be heading into the playoffs, but more importantly, how crazy of a time we had setting this up. We have been here for almost an hour, doing close to nothing, because Debbie's equipment decided to cease existing. Just, why not? And Sue Ellen could not figure out for the life of him, her, it. It's been a morning, but hopefully the episode rolls a little bit smoother. Welcome to K&A Football. Okay, Kadin.
Austin.
So, we've been here for a little bit now.
Right.
And, we've run into some difficulties.
Some.
But assuming... Well, I think we should walk the viewers through what we went through this
Well, right,
morning.
when you opened and said words cannot describe, I thought for sure you were just going to say our difficulties this morning because, yeah, I think episode 1 ran more smoother than this episode has so far.
Yeah.
You guys can't see, but behind the camera didn't work. So we're using makeshift cameras to record right now.
Don't give away our secrets.
Just kidding. That was a joke. Debbie is not here to fix anything. Debbie's at work, so we literally call Debbie and we're like, "Yo, how do we do this?" Debbie's like, unplug it and plug it back in." We tried multiple times. Hate to break it to you, Debbie. And then multiple things keep going wrong, and then we're finally ready to record. This doesn't matter, but then Sue Ellen's back there, just wham, just destroys the microphone back there. Just everything's going on. While Austin's recording the intro, Sue Ellen's trying to put the stinking microphone back on. I think just gave up. I don't even see the microphone anymore. It's on the floor. This is the most.
Debbie, don't worry, I'll put it back up.
It's great. Sure, you got the Joe Rogan podcast. You got all these great podcasts, but ours is a great podcast still. But ours faces more adversity than any other podcast
On a week-to-week basis.
Exactly. Which is why you need to listen to the K&A Football Podcast.
Get all your friends to listen.
Exactly.
Subscribe.
We face more adversity than any of these other people because they make millions. We make zeros. So please give us money, and then we won't face these adversities.
I love that. That's really profound. It's really good. Hopefully, once we get into the actual football analysis, our pick'ems, things run a little smoother. Well, if you remember, there was that one pick'ems episode right before week 1. You went to the Panthers game, and we recorded, and then everything died, and the episode was gone, disappeared, deleted, and then we had to do that stupid
Still think that was more smooth
Zoom
than this.
episode.
Still think that was more smooth than this was.
That probably was more smooth than this.
But we got it going. Hopefully, you guys can see this normally. We really have no idea what's going on right now. But
let's get into our pick'ems and hope it goes well.
This week's K&A Pick'ems. The K&A week.
I'm
We're good.
assuming our pick'ems are on the screen right now, right?
Yeah. No, we're good. I swear.
Slideshow.
I just tried to press to the camera. And it
Oh,
just came up,
so-
a weird black screen.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Ignore that.
Well, it's all right. So as we're getting the slideshow pulled up, like you said, this should be a crazy week. There we go. Perfect. We are rolling.
Now
So,
we're
yeah,
cooking with gas.
We still got the great fire in the background. Shout out to Debbie, even though Debbie's not here, because Debbie has to work.
On the shout out to Debbie.
But yeah, we have to recap this Monday night game. I guess. But Chargers beat the Colts 20-3. It was a blowout game. It was kind of boring. It wasn't a lot. Chargers clinched the playoffs now. They're not going to win the division because Kansas City already clinched. But for the first time in Justin Herbert's career, he is going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Which, exciting for him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of been the ammunition towards Justin Herbert is, he's never made the playoffs. Yeah, he's young. He hasn't made the playoffs. But now he's made the playoffs, so we'll see what playoff Justin Herbert looks like.
Yeah, maybe they go on a little bit of a run. Surprise people? I don't know.
I doubt it. They're going to be, the last seed?
They'll probably be realistically the 6th.
Yeah, so they'll play maybe Kansas City if Buffalo holds it 1, which, is not going to go well for them. But, the Colts looked really bad in this game, per the usual. Nick Foles was starting at quarterback because Matt Ryan was benched. I don't know what the Colts have with like getting really old quarterbacks that are well past their prime.
Hey, they're gonna get Derek Carr next year.
Yeah, Derek Carr was benched, which we'll get to. They'll probably end up with Derek Carr. Revolving doors aren't very fun. But yeah, Chargers clinched playoffs, win this game. Colts couldn't play spoilers.
Absolutely. But yeah, there wasn't much to talk about. So now to the actual game. This is it that we're gonna pick.
Maybe. I love that blue circle there. It's good.
There we go. Perfect.
Great.
All right, so this is the first time that we're actually picking the Thursday night game on Thursday. That's
Yeah.
actually really, look at that.
A lot of fun.
So tonight, Cowboys at Titans. Big game for playoff implications for the Titans. They on a 5-game losing streak while the Jaguars are very hot.
Mhm.
Jaguars took first place. They lead the AFC South now. And it almost seems like their division to lose, and it's looking more and more like it because now we already know Ryan Tannehill's out for the season, so they're starting Malik Willis, who's having a rough rookie season. And now Derrick Henry, who we all know Derrick Henry is literally like their team.
The entire team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doubtful for this game.
Right. So in the Titans' last game against the Texans, right, they ended up losing that 19-14. But Malik Willis, obviously, he's not a fantastic NFL quarterback yet. He's still a rookie. He threw for less than 100 yards, and Derrick Henry rushed for like 126. So, I mean, Derrick Henry, like you said, is their offense. He carried that team with way more than half their rushing yards in the entire game and like all their points.
Mm-hmm.
So without him, without Tannehill, to me, there's no possible way the Titans even come close to beating the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys just beat the Eagles, who are arguably a great pick for Super Bowl favorites. Them, the 49ers, Bills, Chiefs. Like that's really the conversation for who's winning the Super Bowl this year. And the Cowboys managed to beat the Eagles. So to me, no real way that the Titans come away with this or even come close. It's probably going to be a very boring Thursday night game with the Cowboys scoring 8 billion points and the Titans not doing anything.
Yeah, the Titans might have less than like 100 yards total offense. I don't see them moving the ball with Malik Willis throwing the ball. They have no receivers, and he hasn't thrown good all season. And now Derrick Henry is out against a very good defense. It's going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cowboys will win this one.
Cowboys by a thousand.
Whatever, the Cowboys by whatever they want to win by.
Exactly. All right, this game is a really tough one to pick.
Because they're both terrible.
Right. So Arizona at Atlanta Falcons. Like you said, this one's very hard to pick because they're both so bad. It's like, well, you know, who do you pick? Do you pick Trace McSorley or Sorley?
You don't even know his name. He's that bad.
Yeah, exactly. Or Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
It's a real toss-up there. This is such a boring game. Like, I'm sorry, I won't be watching this game. This is gonna suck. Is there anything to say about this game, Caden?
I feel like both teams, they're obviously both out of the playoff contention. They're probably just both trying to, at this point, get a better pick. Maybe Falcons trying to see what they have in Desmond Ridder. And because of that, I'm picking the Falcons. Obviously, we know Trace McSorley isn't an NFL quarterback. They have Kyler Murray, who's their franchise quarterback. And the Falcons are still trying to see, is Desmond Ridder the guy, or do we have to draft another quarterback this offseason? So I think because of that, Falcons will win because Desmond Ridder is still trying to show that he is their quarterback and that they can at least trust him for at least another season. So I think the Falcons will win. Not very confident on it at all. I mean, this is going to be a pathetic game. I mean, Cardinals were up 10 points on the Bucs last week, which is like, oh, so pick the Cardinals. But no, the Bucs are awful, and they choked that lead in 5 minutes. So it's like, I don't know, man. I'm picking the Falcons.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Arizona. I am. Like, the Buccaneers have obviously beat the Falcons a handful of times this year. They're in that division. So they've proven themselves to be better than the Falcons. And the Falcons just are the worst. Well, not the worst. There are teams that are much worse than the Falcons.
Like the Cardinals.
I wouldn't say the Cardinals are worse. If they had Kyler Murray, I'd take the Cardinals by a couple miles. But Trace McSorley almost beat the Buccaneers. The only reason he didn't is because he just handed the ball to the Buccaneers in the dying seconds of the game with a little help from ref ball. So I'm gonna go Cardinals. Like you said, not confident on it
Yeah.
at all. This is such a boring game. I hope no one spends their time
Maybe
watching
they can.
this.
Maybe they can tie 0-0.
Oh, that'd be good. No one deserves to win. Maybe like -3 to -3. That'd make my day.
More realistic.
Yeah.
For sure. And this game is another interesting one, but for a different reason. This is going to be an interesting. This is big playoff implications.
Huge. Miami Dolphins at New England Patriots. Like you said, huge implications. The Dolphins are on a 4-game losing streak, 5-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Like they've lost so many. Tua is back in concussion protocol, so Teddy Bridgewater will be starting this game.
Mhm.
New England Patriots are looking to squeak into that 7 seed in the playoffs. Dolphins are currently sitting at 7 in the
Yeah.
AFC. They're sitting at 7. Patriots are trying to take that from them and move in there. So both of these teams really need to win.
Yeah, at this point in the season, I realistically don't see the Dolphins making the playoffs, especially with now Tua being out. They're on a 4 or 5 game losing streak, and now they got the Patriots this week with Teddy Bridgewater. It's going to be difficult. And then next week against the Jets, who have a good defense, and Mike White is now cleared again, so they're not facing Zach Wilson. I really see them losing both of these next 2 games, and I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I don't know if the Patriots will make the playoffs. Maybe another team, it's like in the hunt in the AFC, can slide in, but I got the Patriots in this one. I mean, Bill Belichick is a great schemer. I think he'll be ready against Teddy Bridgewater. Dolphins are struggling even with Tua, and now they're going from Tua to Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know.
That's exactly what I was going to say. These last couple of games, they've had Tua, and they've really struggled. They've lost these 4 or 5 that they've lost now with Tua as their quarterback, and now you're taking a huge hit again in starting Teddy Bridgewater, which didn't go fantastically last time Tua had a concussion. So, gonna go Patriots. They just need to not throw a screen pass every single down, and I think they'll take this one handily. I don't trust that the Patriots and Matt Patricia won't screw this up, but
I almost forgot this little thing I wrote. This is sad. Like, another reason I don't think the Patriots will get in, these are their wins this season. Okay, the Patriots are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 wins. Does that sound right?
that sounds about right.
Their wins this season. Steelers in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not good.
Lions in the beginning of the season when the Lions were really bad.
Yep.
The Browns. The Jets twice. Jets with Zach Wilson. Very bad. That was the 2.7 inches per play game.
Yeah.
And the Colts. Name me one good team that they have beat. You
Yeah.
can't. None of those teams are good. We haven't played the Jets or Patriots.
Oh, wait, that's pretty. Well, they are.
Okay, they're 7-8. So they beat another team in there. Probably like the Texans or something dumb. Like, they have beat nobody good. How was,
Yeah.
like, they've won all these very sad games. They lost to the Raiders, and the Raiders are in shambles. I mean, I don't see this team making the playoffs, and if they do, they would just get steamrolled, I think, by whoever they play.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, their notable win this season might be the Dolphins, but it's going to have an asterisk next to it and be like without Tua.
Yeah.
Because I think if Tua plays, even though he hasn't been playing the greatest these last couple of weeks, he's still a significant upgrade from Teddy Bridgewater. So I think Patriots will win, but it's not going to be pretty. And they need to figure it out, because if they don't win out, they're not making the playoffs. And like you said, even if they do, no real chance that they go anywhere deep.
Yeah.
Why do we have so many boring games this week?
Dude, I don't know, but this is very frustrating to me because this is the Saints and the Eagles in Philly. And obviously the NFC South is still up for grabs with 2 teams, really, realistically. A lot of people are saying 3. Is it Peter Schrager? No, Kyle Brandt. One of the guys on Good Morning Football is convinced that the Saints are winning the NFC South. The Saints will win the NFC South if they win their next 2 games. Whoa, stop right there. If they win their next 2 games, they play the Eagles this week. Realistically, the Saints are not going to come close to beating the Eagles. I don't care if the Eagles have Gardner Minshew. I
Yeah.
don't care if they have Gardner Minshew, Jalen Hurts. I don't care who they got. They can have Trace McSorley out there. The Saints are not winning this game. They beat the Browns last week, but the Browns right now are kind of like falling apart.
Yeah.
Their wins, not very good either. They beat the Falcons and Desmond Ritter's first start, and Desmond Ritter's looked pathetic. I mean, there's no way. Actually, just kidding.
Knock on wood real quick.
The Saints are not winning this game.
I mean, Eagles are literally top 10 in every category. Top 9 in every category. Everything. Top 9. And the Saints just aren't. Like, I don't think they're better than 23rd in anything.
Yeah.
So there is no way at all that the Saints come close to this. And obviously, when they lose this game,
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear all the Saints are going to win the division talk just die off.
yeah, I mean, this will kill it.
Yeah.
So they have no chance
Yeah.
after that of winning the division. So sorry, Saints, if there's any Saints fans at all that exist.
There's none.
You will not be making the playoffs this year. The Eagles will probably steamroll you. I mean, the Eagles put up 34 against the Cowboys defense
With the backup.
with a backup quarterback. Like, you don't think they're going to drop 50 on the
Mhm.
Saints? They
No,
will.
they won't because once it's 30-0 at halftime, they'll bring in like their 9 stringers. Actually, no,
Sure.
they'll still score 50 with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to score 50.
And the Saints are just so beat up. Like, every side of the ball is
Yeah.
so injured for them that there's nothing they can do. Like, all of your star players are hurt and out. You're not
Yeah.
winning this game.
You can only play the Browns and the Falcons so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, there is so many bad games this week.
Yeah. So this is Indianapolis Colts at New York Giants. New York needing to win this game if they want to stay in the NFC playoffs.
If they win this game, they clinch the playoffs.
Right. So they're the 6th seed right now. They need to win if they want to clinch, which obviously means that they could lose this week and win next week. But this is definitely very
Yeah,
easy
this
game.
is their best
very
chance, for
winnable
sure.
game. The Colts failed to play spoilers against the Chargers last week. They only put up 3 points. I assume Nick Foles will still be playing this game.
Doesn't matter.
Need we remind you, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP,
Beat Tom Brady.
beat Tom Brady, Nick Foles. There's no chance. Like, okay, I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like I've brought this up once or twice before. But do you remember at the beginning of the year when we were like, the Colts are going to be one of the best teams in football?
Yeah.
Super Bowl conversation, winning their division.
I mean, yeah, I remember when we did our division prediction episode with like all the divisions and the playoffs, we both had the Colts in our playoffs.
Yeah.
One of us had them winning the division. I don't know if it was me or you, but the other had them just in their wild card. I mean, everyone was high on the Colts, not just us. I mean, they
Right.
were supposed to be this great team. Michael Pittman was supposed to be another breakout wide receiver. He's just getting better. Matt Ryan, he's not an awful quarterback. He was all right. He was a good quarterback in Atlanta. Now it's going to the Colts. No one expected this.
Yeah, we expected Jonathan Taylor to go ridiculous, and he's honestly been kind of a disappointment
Probably
this
the
year.
fantasy bust of the year for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jonathan Taylor went like 1st, 2nd, or 3rd overall.
But hey, you know who didn't
like-
tell him? You know who said don't pick him first?
Hey,
Us.
we said don't pick him first.
That's why you listened to the Candy
We said take
Football
Christian
Fantasy
McCaffrey first.
episode.
Yeah, that's
Stay
true.
tuned for that in 2023.
Exactly. Travis Kelce first overall. But yeah, Colts will lose this game. The Giants need to win to clinch the playoffs, and I think they really want to, and I think they will.
Yeah.
I don't know how far of a playoff push they're really going to make. They'll probably lose in the first round, if we're being honest.
Well, realistically, they're going to get matched up with probably San Francisco or Minnesota.
Yeah.
If it's Minnesota, they have a chance. I mean, they lost by 3 to them last week. So
Right.
anything could happen, and obviously playoffs, anything can happen. Like obviously any given Sunday. But realistically, yeah, they'd lose first round for sure.
Yeah. Especially if they play San Francisco.
Right. But yeah, I'm also going Giants. Not much to say. You pretty much covered it all. Colts waiting for a high pick, waiting for their next coach. Jeff Saturday is not it.
Waiting for their next quarterback.
Derek Carr for sure.
All right. Finally,
A good,
good,
anticipated, exciting game.
high-stakes game
Insanely
for
high
everyone,
stakes.
for everyone involved.
Oh, dude. So this is the Panthers at Bucks. If the Bucks win this game, they clinch the NFC South and unfortunately make the playoffs. Unfortunately for every NFL fan that they have to watch this team on national TV in the playoffs, that would be a huge bummer. But if the Panthers win this game, they take first place in the NFC South, and all they need to do is beat the dysfunctional Saints in Week 18, and the division is theirs. Doesn't matter what the Bucks do. So this is the biggest game in the last 5+ years for the Panthers, since the last time the Panthers were in the playoffs in 2017. I am so excited and so nervous for this game, dude. I don't think I can tell you how many like videos of like ESPN clips, Good Morning Football things, and just Panthers podcast and even Bucks podcast I have listened to this week just talking about this game. Like everyone is so excited for it. I was getting my haircut yesterday. And it's very short. But they had on the TV there. They had like ESPN or Good Morning Football or something. And they talked about this game for a good half hour. And I was like, dude, like this is the most attention we've gotten all season. But you know what's great is we're still the underdogs in this game. So it's not like maybe ESPN people are picking us to win, like when they do their pick'ems. But Vegas still has the Bucks winning, which is great. I love when the Panthers are considered the underdogs. When they're favored, they play terrible, like the Steelers game. I think that we can win this game. You're not going to hear me saying we're not going to win this game. The Bucks played so bad last week against the Cardinals with a third-string Trace McSorley. If it wasn't for some ref ball and a horrible fumble with 5 minutes to go, they easily lose that game. You know?
Yeah.
We ran the ball for 320 yards last week. The Cardinals ran the ball for a decent amount last week. The Cardinals did. We're going to run all of them. You wanted to make me mad? Come out the first drive, throw 3 straight passes, and go 3 and out.
That won't be happening.
That won't be happening because we will run. Josh Norman's back for this game. Pick 6, maybe? No shot. But, like, yeah.
You guys might set the franchise record for rushing this week, and you already said it last week.
Exactly. But, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this game because that's just the Panthers thing to do. Get your hopes up. Play great last week. Get your hopes up. Maybe win the division, go to the playoffs, and then you lose. So I wouldn't be surprised if we lose, but I wouldn't be surprised if we win.
Is this at 1?
This is at 1. It's stupid. They flexed the Steelers versus Ravens game to Sunday night and left this game at 1. Didn't even move this to 4. You know, that's fine. Under the radar. It's all right. Not a national TV game for some reason.
I might tune into this game between the Browns game once we go up by 50. We'll go ahead and turn into this one.
I am super excited. But I will say, if we are losing this game, I don't recommend texting me something about the game because I am going to be mad. But Sam Darnold, I wrote some stats here. Sam Darnold, we know, has had an awful career so far. But he's played 4 games this season, and he's looked completely different with a new O-line and a new head coach. In his 4 games, he's 3-1. He has a 61% completion percentage, 759 passing yards with 4 touchdowns. And this is the big thing, 0 interceptions. That has not been Sam Darnold's mantra his whole career. 104.9 passer rating. 4 of his passes have been drops, and he has 54 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. That's not no Josh Allen level stuff, but that is perfectly fine game manager stuff when you have a running game like the Panthers running game that's been able to just completely take over a game.
Yeah.
As long as you're not turning the ball over, they should win this game.
Yeah, I mean, for sure look for a lot of runs early from the Panthers. I mean, I think they'll probably run it like, I don't know, every single down on their first drive.
It doesn't matter. 3rd and 30? That's a run.
I mean, yeah, so look for a lot of runs early, and then later in the game, some play action passes. Like, that's how I see the Panthers winning this game, is really tell the Bucks, we're going to run it. You're going to know we're going to run it, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then fool them with the play action later in the game. Buccaneers are not great in the passing game. Tom Brady's not looked like himself, and he doesn't really have the receivers at this point to do it. Mike Evans just hasn't caught like anything, which is like, you know, I picked him up in fantasy. Like, I drafted him in fantasy, and then like he was like cut week 3 because he was giving me no points. And their rushing shocked me. They're 31st in rushing. Like, that's so bad.
Yeah. It's going to be a tale of 2 different games. The Bucks trying to pass, but not passing good, and us hopefully just running down their throats.
Yeah. So, in case you couldn't tell, I got Panthers. Kadin, I assume you have Panthers as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Super excited for this game, man. It's going to be a long 3 days waiting for it. But we get the Buckeyes game on Saturday.
Exactly. Buckeyes game. Go Bucks. Alrighty,
Another absolute boring game. Chiefs, move on.
yeah. Well, here's the thing with this game.
No,
No,
stop.
I am not picking the Broncos. Do
Okay.
not even think for a second I would pick the Broncos. But what you have to remember is the last time these two teams played, the Broncos almost pulled it out.
It did.
The Broncos almost pulled it out, and now they don't have Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett is no longer their head coach or play caller.
Yeah.
Which is, good. But here's what I want to see. Here's what I want to know. This is my big wonder. Was Nathaniel Hackett as bad as he was, or is Russell Wilson as bad as he is?
Well, I don't think you're going to see it the rest of this season because
Right.
the interim coach isn't going to make a difference. Obviously, next season with a new head coach, you'll see the difference. And I don't think that their coach right now, their interim coach, is any more qualified than Hackett is. They hired their interim coach as it was Hackett's like game manager, like the time managing specialist, whatever they called it. The guy, because early in the season, Nathaniel Hackett, they brought him in and he was like, he didn't know how to manage time or anything. So they brought in like a specialist. Like they had the fans counting down the play clock and all this stuff. So now they hired that guy as their interim. So I don't think he's any more qualified to be a coach than Hackett is. So I don't think this season you'll see a difference. But
Yeah.
hopefully next season, it's the Chiefs. I wouldn't pick against them anyway, but it's especially because it's the Broncos. I don't care how close their game was last time.
Yeah, Chiefs by however much they really want to win by.
For sure. And we forgot to mention last week, Russell Wilson, congratulations.
Yeah.
You have passed your number of bathrooms in your house. You have 13 touchdown passes to 12 bathrooms. Congrats, dude. Yeah, that's some NFL quarterback level stuff right there.
Yeah, man, that's an accomplishment for anyone. I too wish that I could have more touchdown passes than bathrooms in my
But I
house.
don't because I'm not in the NFL.
Right. So the bathrooms win in my life.
You got to be a great NFL quarterback to be able to do
At
that.
least you don't have more interceptions thrown than games played. Dak Prescott. But whatever.
You're not overrated.
No, not at all. Stop thinking that right now. All right. Chicago Bears at Detroit Lions. Lions are looking to squeak into the 7 spot.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the outside looking in right now. They got 2 weeks to pull it off. They have to win out if they want a chance. And they need Washington to lose one of their next games. They need New York to lose one of their next games. They need some teams to lose, and they need to win out if they want to stand a chance. And this is a great week to try and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Playing the Chicago Bears. This is going to be, in my opinion, a very high-scoring game.
Oh, yeah.
The Buffalo Bills shut down Justin Fields last week. Issue is, the Detroit Lions are not the Buffalo Bills. I don't think that their defense is as good, and I don't think their defensive scheming is as good. So I think that Justin Fields will probably run and pass all over the 31st ranked Detroit Lions defense. On the other side, Bears defense is also pretty bad, and the Detroit Lions offense is very explosive. So, going to be a offensive showcase.
Hopefully.
That's what this game's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions got steamrolled last week. They got ran all over by the Panthers, 320 yards, we said. But I think that Dan Campbell will have them. I mean, that was a big letdown for them. They were rolling, trying to get into the playoffs. And obviously, that was a big letdown. I think he'll have them ready. I mean, they have a good week to do it, like you said, this week against the Bears, who all they have is Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
I think their run defense will be greatly improved. I mean, the Bears don't have as great of a rush offense as the Panthers do, aside from Justin Fields. So I think if they can just, obviously they're not going to contain him like the Bills did, like you said. But I think if they can just contain him to maybe under 100 yards around that area, they will be okay.
Yeah.
If he gets like, so I mean, I think Justin Fields will do his weekly break off a 60-yard touchdown run. That's pretty much inevitable. But aside from that, I think that they'll be all right. Fields still has zero people to throw to. I think they'll be all right. Lions should get back on track. Hopefully make the playoffs. They are fighting for the 7th seed, like you said. And the Bears are quietly moving towards maybe the first pick in the draft. Could be big for them because they could trade back. They could stay there and draft a defensive player, or maybe a receiver. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that it would be, pretty ideal. The Bears, I mean, they might not get the first overall
Right now they have the second. And I don't see them winning any games, so they will at least get the first or second, assuming they don't win.
And that's a honestly great place to be for them. I mean, I personally am in a pretty similar position at this point in our Dynasty League. I've dropped intentionally.
Assuming
that that's how it works. I've allegedly dropped to potentially the
tanking.
second pick.
We got to kick him out of the league, tanker.
Yeah, as though Preston didn't tank the whole season. So allegedly, I'll get the second overall pick. It would make sense to me if I did, but if not, I'd get like whatever, 6th pick or whatever. But either way, I understand the motive here. It's like, you can either draft someone that's really good if someone's available and you need them, or you trade back. You trade back a couple picks and you get a bunch of capital. You get some draft picks for the next year. Maybe you get some players out of it. I think it's a really great place for the Bears to be in, and I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
But Lions by a couple.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the better drafts for them to trade back because there's really 2 quarterbacks that everyone wants, and it's Bryce Young and it's TJ Stroud. So you're going to have a team that needs a quarterback like potentially the Raiders next season or the Colts, assuming they don't go get someone. Maybe the Panthers if they don't like Sam Darnold as their future. Like one of these teams will maybe be like, we want a quarterback, but we can't get him at where we're at. So they're going to trade up. They will give whatever the Bears want to go up and get their quarterback. You've seen it done with a lot of quarterbacks. They trade up and get their guy, and that team gets a lot for him. I think the Bears can do that, especially with this draft. I think, they're in a good position for it.
Definitely. Okay, Browns at Washington.
Don't sound too excited, man.
Well, there's so much to look forward to for this game, like where the Browns are like eliminated from playoff contention and
Well, move your mic a little closer, they might not be able to hear you.
Browns are eliminated from playoff contention and Washington's fighting for the 7th seed in the NFC and yeah.
Anything else you want to say? You want to pick a winner?
I'm picking the Browns.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, going into this week, I was like easily picking Washington, not really giving it a second thought. The Browns just lost to the Saints. And then it came out this week that Ron Rivera announced Carson Wentz is starting for Washington for the rest of the season. Me and you talked about it last night. We are fuming mad. That is, I respect Ron Rivera as a coach. He was the Panthers coach for a long time. He was a good coach. He's been a good coach with Washington. They were nothing when he got there. And now they're consistently fighting for playoff spots. Worst move I think he's ever made in his life.
Yeah, I personally don't understand it. At the beginning of the year when you had Wentz, before he got hurt, he just hurt his thumb or whatever.
Hurt his thumb.
So he got hurt, and then they're like, okay, Heineke time. And he balled. Like, is so fun to watch Heineke. Like, watching Heineke knowing that he was a backup at the beginning of the year is like watching Gardner Minshew on the Eagles. It's like, it's a guy that's like good. He's a good football player. He's tough. I do really like Heineke. And Carson Wentz just is not him. I'm sorry, he's not. And the Browns defense is going to have a field day with him. I'm sorry. Like, Myles Garrett is going to breathe down Carson Wentz's neck the entire game. And Carson Wentz feeling that pressure is just going to throw every single interception to every single Browns cornerback and safety. Like, that's just, Carson Wentz is not a good quarterback. I don't understand why they're starting him.
I was fuming mad. I'm not even a Washington fan, but they completely are playing themselves out of playoff contention now because they're starting Wentz over Heineke. And because Heineke isn't starting, I'm going Browns just because.
Oh, thank you.
Just
I appreciate that.
Just because of the Wentz factor. If Heineke's starting, I'm sorry, I'm picking Washington.
Yeah.
But I'm not picking Wentz.
Yeah.
I don't care who they're playing.
If they decide to roll with Wentz next year, I want to see Heineke leave. And he could start somewhere else.
Oh, I believe that.
Any of these places that need a quarterback, like, even, heck, if he went to like the Saints, he'd probably start over Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton at this point. There's a lot of teams that could use a quarterback, and Heineke's not a terrible option for a starter.
Yeah, he's a lot better than a lot of the quarterbacks that are getting benched right now. Like, I mean, he'd for sure be the best quarterback on the Colts. I mean, you can see him go there. He's the best quarterback on Washington, but he's not playing. You can say what you want about the Raiders. I mean, a lot of teams he could start for. maybe he leaves Washington and becomes a starter because I think he's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the league, and there shouldn't be people starting over him.
I agree.
For sure. The next game we got. Oh,
All right, this is huge. Well, not really huge, but it is a big game. Jacksonville at Houston, at the Texans. I'll let you talk about this one. Go for it.
yeah. So the Jaguars are rolling right now, and while the Titans have completely fell off, Jaguars now have the first are leading the AFC South with a very good chance to just extend their lead this week with them playing the Texans and the Titans playing tonight against the Cowboys. So with a win tonight and a Titans loss, could they clinch the division with this? Or would it still come down to next week?
No,
because next week the Jaguars and Titans play.
I think that because the Jags have the tiebreaker right now on the Titans. Jags already have the tiebreaker on the Titans. If the Jaguars win this game and Tennessee loses, I don't think Week 18 matters.
I don't know if it matters for them. I know it matters for the Titans. Week 18 is all that matters for the Titans because if they win, I think one of their next 2 games, they can get in the playoffs as a wild card. I don't know if division would still be a thing.
I'm not entirely certain about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They very well could. Week 18 could decide everything, and this week doesn't matter for either of these teams, and Week 18 is what matters.
Right.
Not entirely certain, but
I mean, it is a big help for them that they're playing the Texans. I mean,
right.
Jaguars should easily win this game. Texans got a big one. The Texans held them out last week by beating the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, but
there was a post on Instagram by the Texans, and it showed the score of the Titans game when they beat them 19-14, and it said, "Dear Jacksonville, you're welcome." And it was like, yeah.
And now Jacksonville's going to thank them this week by beating them by 50.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I had the opportunity, like most of you know, because I've been bragging about it for the last couple of weeks. I'm in one of my leagues. I'm in the championship game for that league. And I had the opportunity to pick up Jacksonville's defense off waivers and start them. But I decided to go with New York's defense, New York Giants, against the Indianapolis Colts because the Texans they dropped like 40 in one game. They dropped like 35 in the next game.
They're putting up points.
Right, they're putting up a lot of points with their, college football offense. I mean, they've put 19 against the Titans, which is like whatever. But still, like they've been putting up a lot of points. So I was like, I'm not touching Jacksonville's defense. As bad as I think Houston is, they've been putting up enough points to where it's like, I'm not going to mess with that, and I'm going to play a little more safe. So I'm excited to see what happens here. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars will win this. Sorry, Texans.
Unless they want to play spoiler and help the Titans now.
Just help everyone, just not themselves,
Yeah, they would literally be hurting themselves with a win. They'd play themselves out of the first pick, potentially the Bryce Young sweepstakes. I feel like that's the lock-in first pick at this point.
Yeah, Bryce Young will be first of all. I don't see how Bryce Young won't be first
unless C.J. Stroud in the college football playoff completely goes nuts, like destroys Georgia. Even if C.J. Stroud destroys, even if Ohio State destroys Georgia and then blows past what will probably be Michigan in the final, I don't know. Yeah,
Bryce Young just
you
looks
need
so
a
good.
crazy offseason, maybe an injury of Bryce Young, something to happen.
Bryce Young needs to be caught in some PR nightmare for him not be first overall.
Could happen.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
What was his name a couple years ago?
Baker Mayfield.
Him. But no, what he started with a T, offensive lineman.
Oh, yeah, he's a left tackle.
Yeah,
the guy with the smoke mask.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Man, why can't I remember his
Laramie
name?
Tunsil.
Tunsil, that's what it was.
For sure.
Yeah, he was supposed to go really high, and then he dropped to 10 or something after that video release. But either way, like you said, Texans would hurt themselves with the win and give the Bears, that first overall pick, which would be so much capital. Oh my gosh, if the Bears got the first overall pick.
Because they don't need that quarterback.
No, they have Justin Fields, and Justin Fields is playing out of his mind. They don't want a quarterback.
Yeah.
And they have a good running back, so it's I guess they could draft a defensive guy first overall, but I wouldn't.
You can move back maybe to 7 or 8,
and still get one of those guys.
Still get one of those high defense, because first couple picks are going to be quarterbacks, maybe a receiver, maybe a couple O linemen. You still get a great defensive player plus multiple more players.
Yeah,
good situation if you have the first pick and you don't need the best player in the draft.
Yeah. So Texans, don't try to win. Try to tank. Be like me.
But they would draft Bryce Young if they were here.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. So this is going to be not a game. This is going to be like me playing my 5-year-old brother in Madden on rookie settings. I don't do that. I play on All Pro.
All Pro.
Yeah, I'm not good enough for All Madden. I'm not good enough for All Madden at all. All right.
He's not know you like Yo Boy Pizza.
Yeah, I'm not as good as Yobo Pizza. San Francisco 49ers at Vegas.
Yeah.
Las Vegas Raiders. I literally, it's
say
been years,
Oakland?
but I still say Oakland. It's been years now. I still say
All
Oakland.
right. Might as well be Oakland. Or
Yeah.
joke.
Derek Carr has been benched by, McClown. So Derek Carr will not be playing. I don't understand the motive behind that. I understand maybe he hasn't performed how you want him to, but I don't even recognize their backup's name. Did he even play football anywhere? I don't know. Like, I don't understand the motives. Can you explain this to me, Caden? Why would they bench Carr?
Because the Raiders, if you don't remember from the last couple of weeks, they don't like Devontae Adams. They don't like throwing him the ball because they don't like having a top receiver in the league on their team.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
so they're like, wait, why did Devontae Adams come to the Raiders? Oh, because Derek Carr. So let's bench Derek Carr. So Derek Carr, he's away from the team now. Like they said he's not even with the team anymore. So he's ultimately going to get cut or traded. He's not with the Raiders. He's gone.
Derek Carr is.
Yeah, for sure. And now they're like, okay, that's good. Now our superstar receiver, the only reason he came here was to play with Derek Carr. And now our superstar receiver is definitely going to want traded or cut. He's 100% gone. They're completely screwed. Josh Jacobs was in the locker room talking. He was fired up. He's gone. He's a free agent this season. There's no way he's going back to the Raiders. Devontae Adams, people asked him about his future, and he's like, I'm not talking about that right now. Like, yeah, I'm upset that they benched my guy. He's gone. Derek Carr's gone. Their team is completely in shambles. Their coach, absolute joke. If they don't fire him, dude, Raiders are awful. It makes no sense. Yeah, you weren't going to make the playoffs anyway, but Derek Carr's not as bad as whoever their backup is. He's the scapegoat for this team. They made the playoffs last year with him. He's not a bad quarterback, but you're such a bad coach, and you're just going to blame it on Derek Carr because he's the quarterback and he's the scapegoat.
Yeah.
And now you're starting a quarterback who's never really played against the 49ers defense. Jarrett Stidham. He played for the Patriots a couple years ago. He was like a backup for Cam Newton when Cam Newton, couldn't throw. That tells you what you need to know about Jarrett Stidham. And now he's playing against the Niners defense. This is going to be...
I should have picked up the Niners defense.
They're definitely already taken.
Yeah,
it's going to be Brock Purdy, 97. Jarrett Stidham, 0. It's going to be such a blowout. Sure, they weren't going to win with Derek Carr, but it was going to be better, and now you completely just ruined your whole team. You would lose with Derek Carr, but you still have your team for next season. Now you don't have anyone. You're a joke.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Raiders, they don't really have anyone on defense. The defensive side of the ball isn't that great. Their offense should be incredible. I mean, Derek Carr isn't awful.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs is a great running back. He's came out of literally nowhere this year.
And he's gone.
And he's a free agent. And, every week he's come out and said, I'm upset that we're not winning. And then this week there was that video that came out, and he's like, I'm frustrated. We come out here and we work every single day.
He's like, I bust my butt every day, and there's no results. It's getting frustrating.
Yeah, like you said, Devontae Adams only came to the Raiders so he could play with his college teammate Derek Carr, and I'm sure Carr is frustrated right now. I mean, he's been with this team his entire career, and now they're just going to turn their backs on him. I mean, he's going to want
out of nowhere. I mean,
right, and it's not like he's a terrible quarterback. I mean, he's older. He's not like he was, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams that are willing to take him because he's a veteran guy. He has experience. He can still throw the ball pretty well. They're going to take him. Devontae Adams is going to go somewhere else. The Raiders are going to have nothing next year. The Raiders are tanking a couple years early. I don't know. They're like, we're looking for the first pick in 2024. That's what we're going for, guys. 49ers by 100.
Yeah, and what's really sad for the Raiders is they really, it's not like they can look forward to maybe their coach getting fired because their owner came out and said, we like what McDaniels is doing. Bro, what? And then they also said like that they don't have the money and the capital to fire him because they hired him with such a high contract and stuff that if they fire him, they don't have the money to just because if you fire him, you have to owe them their whole contract.
Or at least whatever was guaranteed.
Right,
in the contract, yeah.
And they don't have enough money to, if they fire him, just give him all that straight up. So they have to run it out with him, which he's a horrible coach. He's ruined this team. And now you're going to have him next year with nobodies. You couldn't perform this year with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. What are you going to do next season with, I don't know, Jared Stidham?
Jared Stidham and Hunter Renfrow going to take you to the playoffs.
Good luck with that. Yeah, it's
It's
Raiders,
stupid.
one of the jokes of the league right now.
Absolutely. All right.
This game is this is a big playoff game too.
Yeah, it is.
Two teams, the Jets and the Seahawks, both fighting to get in the 7th seed in their respective conferences.
Yep.
The Jets just got Mike White back.
Yes.
So that's a huge plus for the Jets. I mean, Zach Wilson is a joke. Mike White is not.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jets at Seahawks. I don't think Kenneth Walker. He is back. Kenneth Walker is back.
Yeah.
He was back last week. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to matter. The Seahawks have really turned it off in these last couple weeks. Like, we started the season being like, Pete Carroll, coach of the year. He's done so much for the Seahawks. They were supposed to be the worst. I mean, like, and they've clearly exceeded expectations. Everyone's like, yeah, Seahawks will not win a game, and they're locks for the first pick before the season even started. And now they're in the conversation for the playoffs. So it's like, major upgrade from what you were thinking you were going to be this year. But it's unfortunate because they played so well at the beginning of the year, and they've just lost over and over, and they just don't look like they did at the beginning of the year. Geno Smith, I think you mentioned it last week, looking more and more like, yeah, he's been a backup his whole career, and that's what he should be. Mm-hmm. And Mike White is, hopefully he's 100% and he's healthy, and he's obviously a major upgrade over Zach Wilson, even though he didn't play awful last week. But Mike White's going to play better. I got the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, the Jets defense is so good. The Jaguars have a good offense, and they really held them last week. And they were in the game with Zach Wilson as their quarterback. And if Mike White's playing, they probably win that game. I mean, they brought in Chris Streveler with in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
And they still realistically had a chance to go win. They were in that position because their defense had played so good.
Yeah, what was I talking about? I take that back. Zach Wilson played awful last week. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh my gosh, what was I thinking about?
He played terrible. That was the Thursday night game last week. He was a joke. He got benched. Shocker. But Geno Smith, like you said, playing more and more like a backup every single week. The Seahawks have fell off. They struggled last week against a really bad Chiefs defense. Normally, you're going to lose to the Chiefs, but probably in a shootout. No, they put up 14 points. It's like, that's not typical for the Chiefs defense. They're going to really struggle against this Jets defense. And Mike White, he's playing great when he's healthy, as long as he doesn't get completely crushed and Zach Wilson has to come back in. Jets should win this game.
Yeah, completely agree.
I think, this is a very, aside from maybe the Panthers-Bucks, this is one of the bigger, actually, never mind. This is a big game, though.
Yeah, it's big for realistically only one of the teams.
That's why, because I was thinking, actually, it doesn't really matter much with the Vikings.
Yeah. So Vikings in Lambeau at Green Bay. Vikings have locked the division, so the NFC North is theirs. They're kings of the North now. And
for the first time since ever.
Yeah, since
Aaron Rodgers has been born.
Yeah, exactly. So Vikings have that first in the NFC North, and they, at this point, not really a path for them to get the 1 seed. I mean, it's really just between the Cowboys and the Eagles right now as to who's going to take the division. Whoever takes the division takes the 1 seed.
The Niners could get in.
Well, the Niners could take the 1. That's true. So, the Vikings, I really don't have a chance to get there. And the Packers are on the outside looking in. They need to win out. They need to beat the Vikings this week. And who do they play? The Bears?
The Lions.
The Lions.
So realistic.
It's a realistic...
it's definitely a challenge,
Yeah.
But it's not impossible.
But this isn't a scenario where the Packers hold their own destiny either. They need to win their next 2, and that's what they can control. And everything else comes down to you need some teams that are in the playoffs to lose. You need Washington to lose. You need the Giants to lose. You need the Lions to lose so you can continue to move up and get in. This is a really tough one to pick, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
The Vikings should not have the record they do.
They should not.
They're in so many one-score games, and it's so close, and the Packers have been so bad, except for these last couple weeks. I'm going to go with the Packers. I'm going with my gut. I think the Packers are better than the Giants, and the Giants only lost by 3 in a game-winning field goal. I'm going Packers.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers, looking back a couple weeks ago, I mean, it was a long shot for them to make the playoffs. First of all, they needed to win out, and they still had Miami left on their schedule. They still had Minnesota. I mean, all these hard games, but they needed a lot of teams to lose. Like, if one of these teams won, they were done. It doesn't matter if they would have won out. But everything that they needed to happen has been happening. And crazy enough, I think it's going to keep happening for them. The other teams are going to lose. But I don't think that they're going to beat the Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings only beat the Giants by 3 last week. Yeah, they only beat the Colts by 3. Sure, they only beat, but that's just how they've been playing. It doesn't matter who they're going to play.
I agree. Yeah, I know.
It doesn't make sense. I don't like it. It's not normally, you wouldn't think of a dominant team as winning every week by 3 or 7, but that's how they have been. And it's just, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They play to their level of competition. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
They play to the level of competition and squeak out the win every single week. And I'm sure Vikings fans want nothing more than to knock Aaron Rodgers out of playoff contention.
They would love that.
That would be... the Vikings could probably lose first round playoffs. That would be the highlight of the Vikings season. They've been terrorized by Aaron Rodgers for so long, literally his whole career. Maybe aside from a couple games here and there. But this would be huge for Vikings fans. Mathematically, they still have a chance at the 1 seed. They need a couple losses, obviously, from the Niners and the Eagles.
The Niners aren't going to lose.
I don't think they're going to get the 1 seed. They'll probably stick with the 2 or the 3, realistically. But I think that they'll win this game. It's in Lambeau, so it makes it more difficult.
Yeah.
But they find a way every time. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know. There's some magic going on, man.
Yeah. This is the battle of the SoFi Stadium.
Yes. Los Angeles Rams at Los Angeles Chargers.
Sure. I mean, they share a stadium.
Yeah.
It's the same. So in the midfield, there's probably going to be the Chargers logo, and the end zones will say Chargers.
Even though it's
the same place. There's going to be no fans in the stands because normally when the Rams or the Chargers play, there's like 10 Rams fans or 10 Chargers fans, and then the rest of the stadium is like whatever team they're playing. Well, now they're playing each other, so there's going to be 10 Rams fans and 10 Chargers fans. And that's it. There's not like a bunch
You're going to have 20 people in the whole stadium.
Exactly. Like, no, it's going to be dead. There's no Chargers fans, first of all. And there is some Rams fans, but they don't go to games. And this is, I was going to say it's an away game, but it's not. It's the same place.
Yeah, I hate teams that share stadiums. Like, I have a real problem with that. But I guess if you're in the same city, save some money, I guess. But regardless, Chargers by however much they want to win by.
Really? I mean, I agree. I think the Chargers will win this game. The Rams destroyed the Broncos last week. The Broncos are arguably one of the worst teams in the league. But I think the Chargers will blow them out. But I don't know. Rams will put up some fight. Maybe not. I mean, the only thing is the Chargers have clinched the playoffs. What are they still fighting for?
That's true.
They can't win the division. All they can really do is maybe climb up to the 5 seed and maybe play Jacksonville in the first round, which would be big for them. So maybe they do have a lot to fight for, but realistically, they might just take their foot off the gas a little bit. They're like, we're in the playoffs. Don't go too crazy and get injured. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I still think the Chargers will win.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the Chargers corner safety.
Oh, Derwin, or like the guy ejected.
Yeah. I don't think he was suspended.
He wasn't. So he's back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was stupid. There was a hit early in the game last week. He came up and just completely took someone's head off. I mean, it was a crazy hit. It was cool.
Oh yeah, it was like old time, like I don't know, early 2000s.
Yeah, like early.
NFL.
Yeah, like if you do that hit in the 90s, you're getting like a massive contract extension. Here, you're like it's ejected. It's like, come on, dude.
I mean, yeah, but they like both had concussions, and they're like, I get it. I understand why you can't do that. Like that guy could have died.
It was.
Like I was surprised when he stood up.
It was a crazy hard hit.
It was
Probably the hit
It was
of the
fun
year.
to watch.
It
Like,
was.
I'm not gonna lie, it's fun to watch.
It
But
was probably fun for everyone to watch except for the dude getting hit and maybe the guy delivering the hit.
Yeah.
Sure, it kind of hurt him as well.
yeah, sure.
Here's the Sunday night flexed game. Glad we flexed this one.
I don't. Sorry. Unless, like, no AFC North game should be flexed to a primetime slot unless it's Bengals Ravens.
Yeah.
That's the only time. Last I checked, Lamar Jackson is still not back.
He's questionable.
Right. It said that he'll return week 18.
Oh, he did for sure.
Well, that's what Harbaugh
Oh.
has been saying. And, what did he come out and say? He said that, like, even though we're looking to take the division, he was like,
They've already clinched.
right, they've clinched the playoffs, and he's like, I'm not going to force Lamar to come back. We're not going to try to have him come back so we can try to win the division. Like, players come back when they're healthy. And
Yeah.
that is what it is.
I mean,
Like, I'm
it
not
makes-
going to try
yeah.
to force anyone into it, which is like, that's good. Like, I'm not a fan of any Harbaugh. Like, I wish that they just didn't exist. No offense. But, I mean, good for him for being like, player safety is more important than winning. The Dolphins can take.
I'm sure in his
a note
mind,
from
he's like, Lamar better be back by by the playoffs. But
Lamar better be back by the playoffs.
but yeah, like you said, they have already clinched the playoffs. No point in risking like a further injury. He could re-aggravate it.
Right. I don't see him playing even week 18 if he's healthy. I see him sitting until the playoffs, and then you're back in full form, and that's what you do.
Yeah. I think if Lamar would play in this game, I think I'm picking the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
But since they got Tyler Huntley, and I mean, they're bad with Tyler Huntley. They barely beat the Falcons last week.
I know.
Lost to the Browns.
I know.
Steelers can still get a winning record, which is
That's the only reason I'm going to pick them.
yeah. And you know what's crazy is it's a very realistic. They beat the Tyler Huntley led Ravens this week, probably. So that's why I'm picking the Steelers this week. Yeah, and then they play the Browns next week. Very legit shot of going 9-8 and getting another winning record, dude.
I would love if the Browns could stop that.
Yeah.
Because I would love if the Steelers didn't have it. But I'm going to tell you what, the Steelers, for some reason, like I said on whatever episode, Monday, is that what episode it was? Monday? Mike Tomlin with the witch in his basement, he goes, Oogie Boogie, give me a winning record. And he'll like cast the spell, and that's what happens.
Dude, it makes
every year.
zero sense how they always like he's a great coach.
Yeah, but like, look at the team, man.
No, I know.
The
That's
team should
exactly.
the team should have 4 wins. Like,
He's an insane coach, is what I mean. Like Hall of Fame, obviously Hall of Fame coach.
oh yeah,
But like, dude, you got rookie Kenny Pickett. You start half the year with Mitch Trubisky. You got
sorry for your loss.
Najee Harris, who really struggled this year. Your number one receiver, Deontay Johnson or George Pickens. I mean, they're all right. Yeah, you got a good defense. TJ Watt's been out half the year. I mean, they should not be winning more than 5 games. And they're about to have a winning record. Not make the playoffs, but have a winning record because Mike Tomlin is... he's insane. I heard it was a rumor. Obviously, it would never happen, but like some people were talking like, hey, Panthers could trade a 2nd-round pick for Mike Tomlin. A 2nd-round pick for Mike Tomlin? I'd give up a 1st for Mike Tomlin, bro. It's crazy.
Facts. All right, this is a huge game.
Yeah.
Bills in Cincinnati. If the Bills win, they all but guarantee that number 1 seed in the AFC in the first round bye.
Dude, the fact that this is a Monday night game
This is
is
stupid.
crazy. Why not make this Sunday night? I mean, you can't flex a day, but like, why would they schedule this in the beginning of the season? You know these two teams are going to be good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But on paper, this could be the game of the year.
On
Regular season game of the year.
So like I said, Bills looking to realistically clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC. Bengals looking to take
Yeah.
the number 1 seed in the AFC if they were to beat the Bills, which is kind of crazy. That's really crazy.
This could very well be the AFC Championship. This or
Very well, yeah.
take out one of these teams and put the Chiefs in, and that will be the AFC Championship. One of those 3 teams, 2 of those 3 teams will be the AFC Championship. And this will be, we've never, all right, we hang out a lot during some games, like a group of us get together and watch. We got to do something during this game for sure. Monday night.
Definitely.
We
Yeah.
don't got school because we're still on Christmas break.
Yeah.
100%. Got to
Good
do
idea.
something during this game.
I'll wear like Bills gear. I don't own any, but I'll buy some.
Dude, my brother has a Bills LaShawn McCoy.
That's such a
jersey.
throwback.
I might have to wear that. Actually, I kind of like the Bengals. I'm pulling for the Bengals.
I'm not.
I'm actually picking the Bengals as well.
Oh,
I think they're that's a good segue. They're one of the hottest teams in the league right now. I mean, they're rolling just like they were last year. They haven't lost since like a week before their bye week. Things are clicking. They're getting better and better every week, just like last season. And the Bills, I mean, they're one of the Super Bowl favorites, but so are the Bengals. Bills are kind of struggling a little bit, They're not really struggling, but they're not playing as hot as the Bengals are. It's in Cincinnati. I'm going Bengals.
I'm going Bills.
Hey, anything could happen. It is a huge.
It's a huge game, man. It's big.
I don't know why
Both
they
these
put
teams.
this good of a game at the end of the season. It's crazy. But I guess it's
Yeah.
smart because it has huge playoff implications. People will tune in.
Yeah, I mean, think of what happened last year with the Bengals and Chiefs. They played each other week 18.
Yeah.
Last game of the regular season, Bengals and Chiefs played each other.
Bengals
in
won.
Arrowhead. Bengals won
Yeah.
that game, and then that ended up being also the AFC Championship game.
Could be the AFC Championship, exactly. I would love this AFC Championship. I mean, I'm nothing against the Chiefs. Obviously, Chiefs are a great team. Chiefs are in it every year, bro.
Yeah. I
Switch it up.
never get tired with the Chiefs, though.
No, neither
I
do
really don't. Like, when the Patriots were making it every
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
I was annoyed.
Yeah.
Because I really don't like the Patriots, and I don't like Tom Brady, and I don't like Bill Belichick, and the whole organization, I don't like it.
Maybe 10 years from now, if the Chiefs every year, maybe people will start getting annoyed. But at this point, it's still very early in Mahomes' career. Everyone still loves him. He's that young.
And he's fun.
He brings a
quarterback.
whole new element to the game. Like he does things that you'll never see. Like throw sidearm. He's probably gonna throw backwards eventually. Like
Yeah.
he's fun to watch though. So no one gets annoyed with him except for probably teams in that division or teams that are playing him.
Yeah.
But yeah, any 3 of these teams, no one could complain with the AFC Championship of that for sure.
Yeah. So a couple of things really quick before we end the whole episode. First, do you think that Sean Payton will be coaching the Denver Broncos next year?
The Broncos. I did not hear that. So yeah, there's obviously a lot of talk because it's the end of the season, so there's a lot of coaches getting fired or getting talked about fired, and coaches getting talked about getting jobs. And Sean Payton can't stand the dude, legendary Saints coach. And there's talks about him going back and getting a job somewhere. I don't think
Yeah.
he's going to coach the Broncos. Realistically, I think he's going to come back and coach the Saints.
Really?
I do.
Well, the Saints do still own him because he wasn't fired. He didn't retire and just nullify the rest of his contract. He kind of just resigned.
He did. Yeah, he resigned.
So it's not the Saints still kind of have him. So he'd have to work away out of his contract, or some team would have to trade for him or whatever.
I don't
There'd
see
have
a
to be
team
lot to
trading
happen.
too much for a coach. I mean, yeah, he's a legendary coach, but realistically, it's never happened.
To the
And there's
Saints,
a
though?
reason. I don't hope it happens. I can't stand the dude. He's a great coach. But I mean, I don't think they're gonna fire their guy. I think it's his first year. He doesn't have much, and
Yeah.
I don't think they'll fire him. But if Sean Payton comes back and is like, hey, I'm willing to coach again, they're kicking this dude out the door, no doubt. Sorry, bro. Yeah, you got us some wins, but we'll take Sean Payton over you any day,
Yeah.
I hope they stick with this dude. I don't want Sean Payton to come back, but if there's a team that he does come back to, I think it would be them. Maybe even the Cardinals. I know there's been talk about him going to the Cardinals because there's talk about Cliff Kingsbury potentially.
His job is just
Well, not even getting fired. There's talk about him retiring. Just smart. Retire before they can fire you. It's a
yeah.
genius.
They can't fire you
Exactly.
if
And
you
then when he
retire.
goes to another job, they're like, well, how come you don't have a job right now? He goes, oh, I just resigned. Instead of saying yeah, I got fired. Because he's going to get fired. He'll either get fired or resigned at the end of the year.
Also, other news: Terrell Owens, at 49 years old, is in deep talks
No, there has to
with the Cowboys about coming back and playing at 49. He would be the oldest NFL player ever.
ever. Oh, dude, and a wide receiver at that. I mean,
Yeah,
them and running backs and probably O linemen are probably the most like. You can't be an old dude and play that position because you're getting hit every play. I mean, running backs are getting beat every play. O linemen are getting beat every play. Receivers, they take beatings. They're catching the ball, getting popped in the air. I mean, and you're gonna sprint, run routes, like cut. A 49-year-old's joints are not gonna appreciate him sprinting full speed and then cutting quickly. He's gonna tear an ACL like his first practice.
Yeah.
If he does come back, first of all, I don't even see him coming back realistically. What team is gonna want a 49-year-old? I don't care how good of a receiver you were. You're 49.
Yeah.
You're not a quarterback or a kicker or a punter. You're a wide receiver. I don't see him coming back, but if he does, I see him doing nothing. Maybe being on the practice squad, maybe getting in and getting like a catch for 7 yards. And then he's like, yeah, my body, I was wrong. I can't do this. Thanks for the money. I'm gone. Like, there's no chance he does anything, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. But if he does, that will force Tom Brady to play till he's 52.
Dude, that's the other thing. If he plays Tom Brady, it's like, oh, I got to break the record. I'm playing to 50.
Tom Brady.
Please don't come back, Terrell Owens.
We can't have Tom Brady that long, please. Tom Brady, though, I just saw that he has now played this like in the NFL. He's been in the NFL the same number of days that it took him from being born to being drafted. He spent the same amount of time in the NFL that he wasn't in the NFL.
He's gonna obviously go over that number soon.
Yeah, like tomorrow he's going to be the NFL longer than
today is exactly
today's the day that he has been in the NFL the same amount of time that he wasn't in the NFL.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
So tomorrow will break. That's crazy. That's over a half of your life in the NFL.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
LeBron
started
also
playing when he was like 17.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's still great. It's still crazy that LeBron did it. He's running up and down the court every time.
Yeah.
I mean, these old goats are just stupid. They need to retire, dude.
Just retire.
Get a vacation. Go spend time with your family time.
Oh. That's insensitive, Caden.
And also, one more thing of news. It is New Year's coming up, if you didn't know. It actually is 2023 almost, if you didn't know.
Really? I wasn't aware.
These games are all going to be played on January 1st, aside from tonight's Thursday night game.
Wow. New year, new NFL.
Yeah, so thank you. Dude, you're right. What about it?
Buckeyes play.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that first. The Buckeyes, obviously, Austin's repping the Buckeyes. Huge game on Saturday. This isn't really NFL, but it's a football podcast. Do you think thoughts on the game?
Okay. So Ohio State plays Georgia in the college football playoffs. Ohio State barely snuck into the playoffs. It took a lot of sacrifice from the Pac-12 to once again sacrifice one of their own and say, no, we don't want any championships in this conference. So Ohio State barely squeaks in. We play Georgia.
We're going to get killed.
Look,
realistically,
on paper,
yeah.
On paper, we're getting killed.
No, on paper, we're winning, dude.
No.
We have the best offense, supposedly, the best offense in the league.
And Georgia's got like the best defense ever.
But Stetson Bennett, dude, I think he's a very overrated quarterback.
He's overrated for sure. But like Georgia, I feel like is such a better team. But the last time we did this was Justin Fields.
Yeah. Justin Fields, that's the difference. See, Justin
Right.
Fields to CJ
Okay,
Stroud.
yes, but it was Justin Fields against Clemson, who had won the national championship like 2 years before that, and then got really close the next year.
Yeah.
And then we knocked Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson Tigers out.
Right.
Because we had so much preparation, and Ryan Day's does so much better with a month's worth of preparation.
That's exactly. I'm very low on Ryan Day. I don't think he's a good coach. But with a month of preparation, like the Clemson game, he's done very good. Which is why I feel like we stand a chance.
Yeah, we can do
like,
it.
everyone's like, we're going to get killed. And I'm like, yeah, if you're giving me $1,000 and you're like, go bet, I'm probably gonna bet to Georgia. But I think we realistically have a shot. I mean, as long as we play like we haven't played all season, great. Because we have played bad. If we play like we did against like Rutgers or Northwestern or Michigan or Notre Dame or like anyone, we're gonna get killed. So just like, let's not do that. Stenson
Against Indiana.
facts. Stenson Bennett's overrated, and let's show the world that he is overrated. CJ Stroud, you're playing for your draft position because a lot of people right now are low on you after that Michigan game. And if you have a bad game against Georgia, you're going to continue to slip.
Yeah.
Get back up to the top 5. This is your chance. You got redemption. Maybe get that redemption match against Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan will beat TCU. I'd love if TCU won. I really do.
Yeah,
I would love
absolutely.
TCU in the finals, but Michigan's going to kill them, unfortunately. And I don't think it's going to be
For
close.
sure. And then one more thing, what we were saying. Thank you to everybody for listening in 2022. We started the podcast this year, not really knowing what to expect. I mean, it started pretty much with Austin and I arguing about the Baker Mayfield trade at church one day. And then Debbie was there and was like, man, you guys, like, you know so much about football. Like, you guys talk like this a lot. Like, you guys should start a podcast. And it was like a jokingly, like, fun. It's a lot of work. Like, I'm up late at nights because I got to still go home and do homework after school and stuff like that. But I enjoy it. And I'm glad that Debbie started. So I'm glad that Debbie sent that text out. And thank you to people who watch. Obviously, if nobody watched, we probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So thank you for watching. And 2023, it's going to be even better. We have a lot of things planned for the off season.
Yeah.
For even next seasons, like pick'ems and predictions and all that. It's going to be good.
Yeah, got a lot of content. Waffle House is going to be a big one. When Kadin goes and spends his 24 hours in a Waffle
Yeah,
House,
Austin's about to
it's
make
going to
a
be
great comeback for sure.
big YouTube exclusive. It's going to be great.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good new year to everyone watching.
Yeah.
2023 will be great, hopefully.
And the episode ran without it crashing. So
Yeah, look at that.
that's a massive W. So again, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching this episode of K&A Football. You can listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we're also active on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
If you made it this far in the video,